What's up, Washed Up Walkons fans? We're back for another episode of the podcast. Hawks are 0-2, but it's Hawks by a million, and we're banging it out again. We're back for another week. Quickly, I'm wearing I don't know if you guys received yours yet. Our guy Louis Wickett hit us up on the Insta and was like, yo, I'm going to send you some merch. Got that merch in today. It's literally a Key Mortgage Group Belichick sweatshirt.
Listen, man, love the Belichick sweaty. Haven't got mine in yet. Can't wait.
Dude, I mean, it's comfy. I'm wearing it. If you're watching the YouTube version, or if you're not, go check out the YouTube version. It's beautiful. Speaking of the Belichick sweatshirts, there happens to be a brand, our brand, that has merch out right now. This is the last podcast you're going to hear while the merch store is still open. The merch store closes on November 8th. November 8th. That is Sunday, maybe Monday. I don't know. Go get your merch right now. Go get the Belichick hoodie. Right? He's won like 14 Super Bowls or something to it. Okay. A lot of good merch. Really good feedback on the store so far. You guys have been balling out and going and buying stuff. If you guys have people who you need to buy Christmas presents for, this is perfect. The Hawks by a million tee is good for any Hawkeye fan. All right. And if you sign up for the Patreon right now, you actually get 10, 15, 20% off. Speaking of the Patreon, because of that, we've got like 10 new people to mention. Scott, Dan, Jim. Jim wanted me to mention his son, Camden. Camden, I don't know how old you are, but thanks for listening to the Washed Up Walk-Ons. We're glad that your parental advice allows you to. Austin, Mike, Bob, Blake, Jeffrey, Eli, and Aaron. Boys, we got a bunch of people signing up to be a part of the Army. A bunch of people. And that's exciting.
Welcome to the crew.
Welcome. So we're back for another week. Michigan State, we'll get to them in a second. Drake has been putting in work at the casino. He missed last
and it's
episode.
Been absolutely obnoxious how bad I've been running, but we'll run past that.
Yeah. We missed the episode on Sunday because you were at the casino. How long was that session?
In this past week, I put in 2 sessions longer than 13 hours.
Ugh. And you brought that one back just to be like down
$1,000.
Down like $1,000.
Yes, that is correct.
Poker.
And today I had to bring the session back by accidentally making quad eights when a guy had jacks full and winning the high hand promotion so that I could leave the casino to do this podcast as a very reasonable loser. But still a loser. So,
Oh my goodness. This is
poor guy lost the jacks full.
Yeah. That guy's hurting too. So,
but I mean, to be honest, let's honestly piss on this guy for a second because he was playing like a less than $100 stack.
Oh, so he's just trying to get in at the opportune moment, and
he was hit and run. It was a hit and run.
Can't fuck those people.
That's the kind of guy I am. Anyway, Drake is back. Kevin's back. Kevin, sounds like you're having a party at your house. What's going on there?
What do you mean?
Oh, it sounded like there was a bunch of people at your fucking house. I don't know.
Oh, the TV's on, man. I'm trying to figure out who's going to run the country the next week.
Oh, yeah, that happened, right? Any thoughts on that? Or it's happening still? And probably by the time this comes out Thursday morning, not probably. I don't think there's going to be an answer, right? You're Dr. Ward, but you're also political correspondent Ward as well.
Oh, goody me. Thanks for the promotion. I don't think there's going to be an official answer, but it's pretty much looking like it's wrapped up at this point.
Biden going to take it?
It's looking like Biden's going to be the next president of the United States.
Cool. We already talked about it in the message. If you're listening to this, there's a more than likely chance that you're more worried about the election than I am. It just is what it is. So that happened. 2020 carries on. What else? Oh, Wisconsin is not playing again this week. So kind of the scenarios we ran past last week where it appears that they had like 25 COVID cases in the program. And I don't think that they're going to be in shape to play next week either. So it essentially, I think Wisconsin's.
What would KF say? What would KF say about this topic? About his players winning that game and then everybody getting COVID?
I mean, I think we went over it. I mean, I don't know. What would he say?
He's undefeated.
Oh yeah, that is one of the greatest. I forget the exact story, but that's a really good story. Yeah, I mean, who knows if that was actually it? I don't want to take Bucky Badger down to the, like you said, they could have been hugging their moms and their moms could have had it. And then they all went back and had a nice meal and stayed inside and they still couldn't prevent it. So, Purdue will not play Wisconsin. Iowa will play Michigan State. And Michigan State, the first week, as we mentioned on the show, looked like what I called potentially the worst team in the Big Ten. I was like, I think Michigan State's the worst team in the Big Ten. And who knows? Maybe they still are. They got run by Rutgers. They come out this week.
Hard to win when you turn the ball over like 6 times.
Yeah, like 6 turnovers. They made Rutgers look like a decent team. This week they come out. I don't know. I'm not sure the last time they beat Michigan. But
wasn't that long ago.
Maybe they have a rivalry game, in-state rivalry, like Iowa State, Michigan State plays. I think they play for a trophy.
But actually not like Iowa State, because unlike Iowa State, Michigan State actually can win that game every once in a while.
With the way the Hawks have played this year, and I'm sure the Iowa State fans are salty about it, this was the year for the Clones to get the Hawks.
And guess what? I'm still talking my shit, dude.
I guess. I mean, imagine this is the one good year that Iowa State has a chance to beat Iowa and they don't play. And then like Iowa goes on and wins like 5 or 10 in a row after this.
It's a really horrendous beat for Iowa State to take.
Like they'd all like 8 years from now, they'd be like, well, in 2020 we were better, but like it was the one year we didn't play them. And like, but then Michigan State comes out and beats Michigan. They beat Michigan. Not to say Michigan's world beaters.
One of my buddies who I spend a lot of time talking degeneracy with, he took the Michigan State money line,
which is incredible. Kevin,
awesome.
Kevin or Drake, did either of you get to watch the game? The Michigan.
I did watch it. Yes. Yeah. I watched, I was flipping between that and what was the other game I was flipping between? But yeah, I watched a good amount of it.
What, did they look decent? Like I didn't watch it. Did they look decent? I've got their stats up. Lombardi, the QB, is from Valley. He's from Des Moines Valley.
He's not great. He's really not that great.
No.
I don't know, man. It just seemed like Michigan could never really get in a rhythm or get anything going.
Sounds like a team we know.
And they threw some toss-ups. Michigan State just threw some toss-ups. Their receivers made some plays and they scored some touchdowns. So nothing super impressive, to be honest with you.
One of those games where you realize that if you let a team hang around, it's just 11 on 11, 18 to 22-year-old athletes.
It was just like us versus Michigan back in 2016.
No, don't give them that much credit.
Dude, it was a really big game, but for both sides. Michigan came in giving no credit to Michigan State. Michigan State wanted to win the game extremely bad. They had no business being on the field from a depth chart standpoint, and yet they beat them. Sounds like the same story.
No, Drake. We beat a Michigan team that was 9-0, 10-0, or something like that. Michigan has won one game versus Minnesota, who lost to Maryland. So,
but I also
we don't know how good Michigan really is. So don't.
Yeah. But I also think
get that bullshit out of here.
I also think that Michigan State is way, way worse than we were in that year.
I would agree.
So if you just move the scale down a little bit to the left,
probably.
I still don't give them the respect. I mean, fuck them. They don't have a running back that's eclipsed 100 yards yet. Jordan Simmons, their running back, he has 28 attempts for 98 yards. He's averaging 3.5 per carry. And that's really the best option that they have at running back. They've got a wide receiver with what looks like 9 receptions for 200 yards, which is pretty impressive. And a touchdown. But other than that, it's just kind of been spread out. No one's really doing anything crazy. And obviously they've had one shitty game, one decent game where they came out with a win. So it's hard to say. This is one of those games where the coaches would look at us and say, this is, if we do what we're capable of doing, you should take care of business. And I mean, I feel like the first 3 games, I feel like every game is like that most of the time. There's rarely a game where it's like, okay, you have to play perfect. Or, hey, we could make a couple mistakes in this game and probably still be all right. For Iowa, it's just not the way it is. This seems like just one of those middle of the road games where if they take care of business, they get the job done. But it's been a bit of
we're playing a big team here. It's not like we're playing, week 2 versus Missouri State or whatever it is. Like the Big Ten football team. All right, these guys had offers to go a bunch of places across the country. There's talent on that roster.
What if they're starting a bunch of walk-ons though?
They're not.
yeah, they're not the Iowa guys. They're not starting a bunch of walk-ons.
That's our MO.
Yeah.
I just there's not a whole lot to say that we haven't said. I mean, Drake, you weren't on the conversation with Kevin and I on Sunday. We talked a lot about.
Yeah, dude, you guys honestly wanted me nowhere near that podcast because I was a little bit heated.
I mean, if you listen, yeah, I mean, if you listen to us two, we weren't exactly cool about it. I mean, we talked a lot about senior leadership, any kind of leadership on the team. Talked a lot about what we would do.
Driving under the influence of alcohol, which has been talked about in nauseum.
Yeah. It's just, I guess KF came out and said that there were some positive things this week. They actually practiced well, I think he said, and that, they're showing signs of life, which is good because there's a lot of questions about this team. And I think, Drake, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, but we threw the ball 50 times against Northwestern.
Don't love it, dude. Don't love it. Listen, you want to know who hit me up on Sunday?
Mo Gucci.
He
hit me up too.
And I told him that the team has cancer in it. And I'm sorry that his son has to play for such a selfish, weak-minded football team.
Wow. You're really holding nothing back, huh?
Man, come on, dude. These fucking punks. They think they run the program.
Ooh.
Yeah, you could say in the sense that they do, but they're just not running it the right way.
Yeah, and they're running it right into the ground. So watch Iowa dissolve into a piece of shit Rutgers and Illinois program. I hope KF gets out of there because he doesn't deserve this.
All right. Well,
I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to leadership on the team. So if you don't like where things are at, change things. Guys like Goodson. We had his dad. He's awesome dude. Step up. You see something not right, call people out, man. It's really not a hard formula. It's just sometimes difficult to execute when you got other people in leadership positions that have no business being there.
Yeah, and we dealt with, and again, not going to name names, but we dealt with a couple guys who were in leadership positions who shouldn't have been there. Got asked a lot.
And now they're suing the university, so.
Some of them are a part of that. Some of them are in the NFL. And I'm curious your guys' thoughts. What happens when you have a program like Iowa where we know how important it is for the leadership and the culture to be top down, regardless of.
Clearly, they don't know that now, though.
I know.
It's very clear.
No, hold on. Let me get there. So we had instances like Desmond King comes in, he's balling out freshman, sophomore year. We've had instances where Goodson comes in last year, balls out, clearly a top talent. Linderbaum, young guy. Wirfs was a young guy. These guys come in and they play, and that's great. But there's something to be said about, and Kevin, I'm not taking a shot at you here, but there's something to be said
I'm
about.
feeling it coming. I'm feeling it coming. You're putting a round in the chamber. Go ahead and take the shot.
I'm spinning it. There's something to be said about, maybe the guys who aren't the most talented. I'll say that, Kev.
How fucking dare you? You little 5'10" little punk. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I'll put all three of us there because realistically, no bullshit. If you look at it
how
on paper,
fucking dare you, you little 5'10" little punk.
Oh man. Okay. You know what?
Go ahead, finish your thought.
Put myself there. You guys can speak for yourself. That's another thing we learned in the program. Don't speak for others. There's something to be said about, maybe I'm not the star running back, but I'm a senior leader. I've been there 5 years. I know the culture. I know how to walk around the facility. I know how to deal with the coaches, how to deal with the media, how to go about my time at practice, my time in meetings, my time at meals, just the little things, all of that stuff that maybe doesn't matter at other programs where they've got 5-star talent walking around. They can roll out onto the field and just ball out. But at Iowa, every little thing counts. And that top-down leadership, that top-down, trickle-down culture is so important. How do you get past? And I'm honestly,
I think you bring up. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm a little worried about the answer to the question I'm getting to. All this stuff goes down this summer. Whatever happens. Whatever's true or not true, they're in this position now. They've got some older guys who are supposed to be in that position, but now they kind of have control of the team because, there's for worse or for better, there's a little bit looser rules now. There's just no way that they're going to be able to run the program the same. Doyle's not there, which is automatically going to change things. Other coaches are, now the coaches are maybe the ones stepping on eggshells, to use a quote that, some of the players used when they came out with their allegations. How do you get the young guys, which is a majority of the team? How do you get all of the younger guys to buy in when the seniors aren't showing them the stuff to buy into? I mean,
they're not going to, dude. They're going to think they're going to think it's okay to have their own agenda.
Yeah, you bring up a couple of good points. One thing I say, about the most talented guy, 95% of leadership isn't on the field.
Yeah,
99% of leadership isn't how you play.
Mm-hmm.
You can be on the field and not be the most talented guy, but your demeanor, your effort, that's leadership.
And it definitely can be.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm not saying, obviously there's been some extremely talented teammates of ours that were also phenomenal leaders.
Right.
I'm not saying those things are mutually exclusive, but they don't exactly go hand in hand. You'd like to see your best players and most talented players being good leaders because that's who, the younger guy shows up. Oh, this guy's awesome at what he does. I'm just going to do what he does. Oh, he shows up late, so I guess I can show up late type of thing. Or he gets there 15 minutes early. He's in the building an hour before when he's supposed to be there. He goes to the room, that type of stuff. So like you were saying, that's when it translates to younger guys, and that's the majority of your team. Those are the guys who are going to have to get snaps eventually, and you want them to be doing the right things day in and day out. and learn that from the older guys. And the older guys hopefully learn that from the older guys from them. But, you know, when they're the senior class, when they don't got anybody above them, they, you know, you have a little bit more of a looser chain. You don't have upperclassmen going to be calling you out. Hopefully, you would have your fellow seniors calling you out if you're not doing the right stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
and ideally beyond that, you'd have, you know, you'd want your fellow teammates calling you out versus the coaches, because it's more powerful. But if it comes to it, you'd want coaches calling you out. But then you go back to, okay, well, coaches got a little bit under the microscope this summer for how some of them were, you know, we could have this whole conversation again as if, was it abusive? Was it too much? I don't think so. You know, there's, you know, we can go into all of it, but, you know, it's easy for me to say, coach, you got to coach how you know how to coach, because that's
right, yeah,
how we know how to win.
Mm-hmm.
But
I get what you're saying.
You know, they got kids, they got families, they don't want to move. It's risky for them. But
they've got a lot on the line, and they all feel like they're under a microscope.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know any other way Iowa football runs without being extremely accountable to one another, without holding each other to the highest possible standard, without unbelievable discipline. And you lose that, you know, we don't have the talent usually to overcome being an undisciplined team. So,
yep.
There's my 2 cents.
I love you, Kevin.
I hope the fans got to hear all of that, because he was lagging bad.
There was a little bit of lag in there, but it would catch up, and then he'd speed up a little bit. I think most of it got through. If you have to run it back, because that was good. You're right. You're right on both fronts. The players, that's how it works in the program, and they need to understand that. But at the same time, you know, the coaches, they're under a microscope, and
what are we learning? What are we learning about an Iowa football team that gets to have luxuries and freedoms that superstar teams have? What are we learning?
Well,
it comes back to it always comes.
The product on the field isn't great.
It always comes back to.
I'm not saying that we didn't lose games that we should have won back in our time, but the product on the field just doesn't look great right now.
Yeah. I'll say this: wins and losses, regardless, if you look at some of the games that we played, I'm sure there's a lot of losses that we had where we were still disciplined team. You know, the reason we lost some of those games was because they just beat us.
Sometimes you just get beat. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that these first 2 games.
But you know the old saying, you lose a lot more games than you win, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All that being said, because we could talk till we're blue in the face, the Michigan State Spartans come to town, and Iowa is a touchdown favorite, I believe, right now. I can't find them.
I think they opened up around that. I haven't seen the latest line.
Let me scroll down. Yes. Opened up at -9, and they're now a touchdown favorite. Money has been on Michigan State. So -7 across the board here on. So what do you guys think about that line?
High. If I was handicapping it, I'd have it at Iowa -4.5. 9, I think, is just incredible. I have no reason to understand why they made it that high. I can easily understand why it got bet down so fast. I think 4.5. I mean, these are going to be this is going to be low scoring opinions. 2 tough teams. Different Michigan State team this year. That's the one thing that the books are taking into account. You know, the old physical Michigan State versus Iowa, you know, traditional offenses beating up on each other might not be the case anymore. But I still think it'll be a relatively close game.
I do too.
But who knows?
I'm with you. I think it's more of a field goal.
If I was a Michigan State fan and I saw the line at 9, I would have gone to the bank immediately and said, what is my home worth? I need a home equity loan for exactly that amount.
I mean,
Right. Well, yeah, we could be overreacting to the fact that Michigan State.
But
beat
9
Michigan.
points, that's a lot of
We
points.
don't know how good Michigan is, and we don't know if I always played 2 solid Big Ten teams in Purdue and Northwestern, so the sky's not falling on Iowa yet. So I don't know.
That's a lot of points, though, dude. 9?
It is a lot of points. It's a touchdown and a field goal, man.
I know this. If Michigan State rolls into Kinnick, and I'll be there this Saturday. So if you happen to be walking around Kinnick, you live in Iowa City, maybe you see me. I'll be there.
You're actually going into the stadium?
I will be in the stadium. I do not have an extra ticket.
Are you going to be yelling really loud with your mask on?
Yeah. No.
Are you going to take your mask off and be a rebel?
I'm probably going to leave my mask on or whatever the rule is. I'm probably not going to yell because I'm not a loud fan.
I want to hear obscenities from you because there's only going to be like 500 people in the entire stadium. So I want to hear obscenities from you.
Like when it gets real quiet, like they're just starting a drive or like coming out of a
Did you snag a media pass?
No, I didn't.
Pull out a Jameis and pull out a stand up on the table. You guys remember that one?
Yeah. So I'll be in the stadium, and I know this: if the Spartans come out of Kinnick with a W, the sky might be falling. Because I mean,
it'd be bad news Bears, that's for sure.
Bad news Bears. You have to win. You have to win games, and 0-3 with Minnesota, who we know is just as talented or more talented than the teams we played, and then Penn State, who, Penn State's 0-2. They're not too happy with where they're at right now. No one probably thought that was going to happen. So, yeah, it's.
The thing is, what I want to see out of the Hawks is for them to shut me up and come out and play as if they're actually extremely dissatisfied of where they started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you should really be able to tell if the team comes out and is just extremely aggressive and gritty and just really wants to be out there playing football. Because that's not
Totally,
the team that showed up at all.
Yeah, I feel you there. A team that comes out fiery, aggressive, coming across the ball, hitting dudes, getting excited on the sideline. That's what you want to see.
And you would think this is the team to do it against. I mean, you probably have a lower – I know, Kevin, that's a Big Ten team, and they've got scholarships and everything. But if you're really going to draw it out on paper, they're probably a lower half of the Big Ten team. And, it's not Ohio State.
Sure. Listen, they're starting a quarterback from Iowa, and we're starting a quarterback from California. So just by recruiting standards, we should have a huge advantage there.
I mean, it'll be interesting.
Drake shitting on Iowa quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm shitting on Iowa high school football. Yes,
it's not the best in the country. We'll go with that. It produced us. And so yeah. Again, I'm not betting the Hawks. Like I said last week, I need a couple games where they show they're going to be consistent, and obviously they're 0-2 so far on that. So, that's really where it takes us to. That's kind of our breakdown of Michigan State. They're a beatable team. If Iowa wants to come out and act like they want to play, this is the game to do it. And I think that.
Just want to see some disciplined football. I want to see them win the turnover battle for once. I want to see him run the ball a little bit. I want to see T. Good get his touches.
We need to run the ball. We need to be at least 50-50, I think, just because I get it. We have a bunch of weapons on the edge. We have a couple weapons in the backfield. We got to use them all, right? I think Brian kind of got away from – I think he just got lost in trying to do too much. I really do think he'll bring it back. I don't think it's his plan to go 50-20, 5-2 ratio on pass run every game, unless he's just absolutely lost his mind. In which case, you know what, clean house and we fucking move on. If Brian, I don't know, it is what it is. But that takes us to the most important segment of the podcast. Kevin.
That is such a great soundbite, dude.
It's great. Kevin, you were the pick 4 for 4, and I think you might have jinxed yourself.
I did. I kept the 4, but I went 2 for 4.
Yeah.
Or 2 and 4. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Rough weekend last weekend.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I also shit the bed.
Yep.
Along with who was it? Oh, I knew New Orleans was a bad pick because they haven't shown anything, but I was betting against Chicago, and somehow Chicago came out and looked like a reasonably good team for most of the game. That really pissed me off.
Let me update the records real quick. Kevin, as you said, 2 and 4 last weekend. Drake 1 and 3.
Yes.
I pushed on the Purdue game. They beat Illinois by 7 exactly. And Minnesota lost to Maryland. So that was an interesting game. Both of my NFL bets cashed. The Jets are back on the no cover train. Chiefs won by like 20 some.
The fact that you took the 19 points and just said, fuck it, they still can't cover that is mind blowing to me, dude. 19 points
Wild.
in the NFL is astounding.
Dude, I mean, I'm just playing the odds, bro. And then I took the Raiders plus 2.5 as well, and they ended up winning outright like I thought they would. That doesn't make me Nostradamus because that's just pure luck. But I got lucky in the NFL, 2 for 2, push and a loss. So I went 1 and 2 last week. Brings me to 9 and 14. Not great. Drake is even at 10 and 10. Kevin is even at 13 and 13. So you guys are both 50%. I am still well below. And that brings us to this week's games.
I went from 70% to 50% super quick, and it feels horrible.
Yeah, it's just like your poker game. You've just been rough running, but that means you're due.
I'm real due.
So if you want to start us off, what could be the turnaround picks here?
This feels bad. I don't know, because I don't like any of the NFL lines that much this week.
Okay. Awesome.
But let me tell you one. Here we go. I like Arizona minus 3.5 against Miami because Tua didn't actually show anything. He got one reasonably lucky touchdown, in my opinion. And then, he had 100 and some yards passing or whatever he had. So I
like that pick. I had the Rams last week. Right. I had the Rams last week. The Rams lost that game. The Dolphins didn't do anything to win that game. So I think that's a good pick out of you.
Okay. Now I'm about to pull a Kluver.
Love it.
Don't do it.
About to go.
You know what that means?
I'm about to go Pittsburgh. I'm about to go
Oh,
Pittsburgh minus 13.5
because
because Dallas is putrid, filthy
They're bad
shit, and they don't have a quarterback.
Dalton's out again this week.
Against Pittsburgh's defense, dude, they can't score a point. They can't get the ball across the 50.
No.
Have they covered a spread yet? I don't think they've covered a spread yet.
The Cowboys?
I don't think so.
Definitely not.
They've been favored a couple times, but I don't think they've covered any spreads.
Right. Yeah.
I can't believe I just took that, but it's super fade the Cowgirls season. 2020's fade the Cowgirls. So I'm just gonna do it.
It's the Kluver massive spread of the week, which actually
it is.
I don't have one this week, but I like it a lot.
And then I've been struggling with the last game, but I think I see on FanDuel there is Las Vegas plus 1.5 against the Chargers. Give me the points. I'll take Vegas.
Wow. Okay.
And that I'm gonna just stay there because if I try and get too much deeper.
Just don't worry when you're down when the Raiders are down 16. The Chargers will go ahead and blow that lead for you.
They're really bad at blowing leads. Did you see that stat of like the last 4 games?
They've blown a 16-point lead 4 games in a row. It's incredible.
It's insane. So those are Drake's 3 picks
with a 16-point lead. It's impossible.
Yeah, it's
the rest of. I saw the rest of the league was like 52-4.
Talk about the odd. That's incredible. That's actually insane. So 3 picks for Drake. I might as well just give my NFL picks to round out NFL. Kevin, you can give yours if you have them. I'm going Greek.
I also really kind of like Detroit minus 4 against Minnesota, or plus 4. Sorry, Detroit plus 4 against Minnesota sounds pretty juicy.
Are you going to officially add that to?
Lock me in, baby.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because one of my picks is Minnesota -4 versus the Detroit Lions.
Ooh, love it, love it, love it.
They suck. And so does Minnesota. But Minnesota has shown that they can score points at times. Like them and the Packers went like 40.
All right, so you guys are both on Minnesota?
I like Minnesota.
No, I only said love it because I love it when you guys bet against each other.
Now the last time two of us went against each other was me and Kevin. It was the Alabama Georgia over under, and I took that head to head. So I'm 1-0 in matchups against each other on the podcast.
I actually know nothing about Detroit whatsoever. So take that pick off, dude. I'm just going to let you have Minnesota. Yeah, dude, I was betting Hawk and against Minnesota, but you're talking about Minnesota scoring all these points. Just take me off of Detroit and people. I guess we're on Minnesota this week.
I've got Minnesota minus.
Be careful of the recency bias. You see Minnesota played good one week. You see Detroit played bad last week.
Yeah.
Be careful about that.
Taking it.
It will
hammer it. Minnesota. Love it. All right. The other pick of mine in the NFL, and who knows if the game's even going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to happen. It's tomorrow night, Green Bay at San Francisco. San Francisco is essentially playing all of their walk-ons. They don't have anybody playing. George, our guy, is out for like 8 weeks with a foot injury. RIP. Garoppolo.
It's just a real unfortunate sitch.
It's a bad beat. Garoppolo's out, I think. Mullins is playing, which is bullshit. CJ should be starting. And Green Bay.
Have we not gone down this path already of watching Nick Mullins underperform and then CJ come in and be the golden goat that we know he is?
Right. And I need him to be a golden goat only if they're down like 30 and then bring them back to just outside of -7. Because I'm taking the Packers minus the touchdown. Pack, go.
Honestly, how did I miss that one?
Book it.
How did I miss that one?
Packers
that one's a guarantee.
I mean,
that's the lock of the week. That's the lock of the week.
Well, I thought it was a lock of the week last week. Then they were -7 versus
the
terrible Vikings, and Dalvin Cook literally does whatever he wants to him. Yeah. The Packers can't stop the run, and the 49ers like to run the ball. So I'd be careful before you could go ahead and bet a large sum of money on it, just not your mortgage.
Okay. All right. I'm down with that. So those are my two NFL picks. Kevin, what are your picks in the league?
Man, I don't know what is going on with Baltimore -2.5 versus the Colts.
Look at this.
I thought the same thing. I just don't know how many points the Colts can really score without Jonathan Taylor and T.Y. Hilton.
I mean, I think Baltimore, I had the Steelers last week, but I think I was lucky to win that game. Baltimore did not look great. A bunch of penalties, turned the ball over, but they ran the ball at will on the Steelers. So give me Baltimore -2.5 at the Colts.
Love it. Interesting fact. It used to be the Baltimore Colts. So
it did used to be.
Fun fact of that pick. Any more?
No, I don't think I have any other NFL picks. There's gonna be a lot of good games this weekend. Let me just say,
this is an incredible week of games. Incredible week of games. Moving on to college. Drake doesn't do college. I have two picks in college football. It is 2020. Usually when you've got a game featuring the service academies, there will be no points scored. You take the under. But I'm taking the over, baby. Air Force Army over 41. Give it to me. We're going high scoring points.
Let me stop you right there. I'm on this game too, but
you love the under.
Oh, I looked at it, but no, I like Army -6 in this matchup.
Okay.
Air Force has only been able to play like 3 games so far. They beat up on a really tough Navy squad. Tough as in not good. Like it's just tough watching them play.
Right.
I think they lost. They have 2 losses. Then after that, Army's been beaten up on a bunch of really bad teams, but had some good wins in the beginning. I think Army's the better team here. Give me Army -6.
Okay. All right. My other pick, and they held, in that Alabama Georgia game, they contributed to the over. I am taking Georgia minus 3.5 versus the Florida Gators. It's been bet down from I think -5. It opened up at. I like Georgia, and I hate Florida.
How bad does it feel to be Georgia's backup quarterback?
Why?
Because he was USC starter, tore his ACL, got beat out by the new incoming freshman at USC, transferred to Georgia, and now is on the bench again.
That's tough.
You should just try being better at football, man. I don't know
He was an 18-year-old starter, then he tore his ACL, and now he hasn't seen the field since.
Well, he should try having
If
stronger
he
ligaments.
if he wasn't soft and mentally weak, he wouldn't have torn his ACL.
Truth. Kev, what's your college picks?
I got a couple on here. I don't really love a whole lot of picks this week.
I don't either.
My you know what? Play what you know.
Big Ten.
Play the winners. Play the stuff that you know comes up more than often.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the money. It's a numbers game. Iowa, Michigan State under 46.
Wow.
Iowa's 2-0 to the under so far this year. I think they were like under 9 times last year. Give me the Iowa Michigan State under in a close one.
I like that. I do like that. Is that it? You just got one NFL, one college?
I'll give you Army -6.
Oh, two. Okay, yeah, 2 college. Okay, so you got 3 picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have West Virginia +7 versus Texas written down. I don't know if I'm going to actually play it or not, though.
All right.
I refuse to believe that Texas is actually good. But every time I bet against them, they find a way to cover. Like there's no reason I should have lost that Oklahoma State match last week.
You're right. Yeah, I don't know.
So don't put it in there for me.
I went back. Okay, just the 3. So those are the picks of the week. I looked, because I've been on the Jets. They're great at not covering, and I wanted to see who they were playing this week. And it's the
Washington,
Patriots.
right?
No, it's the Patriots. Okay. Washington is playing the
Giants. The
Giants in the shit bowl, and the Patriots and the Jets are playing in the other shit bowl because the Patriots are 2-5, repping the Belichick hoodie once again. Jets are +7. I'm adding it. I'll take the Patriots -7. Fuck the Jets, baby. Woo!
I love
Cash it in. Yes, sir.
Does anybody listen to this segment?
No.
Does this ever
actually
get
they do
play?
Actually they do.
This gets play on Twitter or what?
Yeah, we're putting it on Twitter.
No,
and then
what I'm saying is, does this get any action? Like, does anybody say anything?
I'll clip this and put this specific.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
But so speaking of the Jets of college football are back in action this week.
Oh boy.
You know who I'm talking about. Akron, baby. Went a whole year without covering a spread last year. Their action is back in action, baby. They're off to a hot start. Lost by 40 to, I think, Western Michigan today. So go ahead and book Akron next week on Boards Winners if we don't get into it in time.
I can't wait to talk about that. All right. I'm going delusional. I have to edit this podcast and get it up. And this has already gone way too long. That's it. Are the Hawks going to be 0-3? Usually it's Hawks by a million right now. But at this point, confidence is low. Confidence is super low.
Hawks by at least 1.
Hawks by a small margin and the under for Kevin. That's it for this week's episode. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.